In my previous life, my sister forced me to marry a poor and unattractive troublemaker. 10 years later, that troublemaker became a stock market genius worth billions, and I enjoyed a life of luxury alongside him. After being reborn, my sister rushed to grab the troublemaker's hand, determined to marry him at any cost, but she had no idea. The real stock god is me. Her man can do nothing. He's just a puppet I put in front of the stage. When I was reborn, it was in a dimly lit sports equipment room. The figure in front of me is my ex-husband, Jet Zhao. The clothes were torn open by him, and he pressed his face against my neck. I felt completely powerless. Amid the chaos, I struggled to realize that time had reversed, and I had returned to the age of 17, back to the day my sister, Lily Chi, drugged me. Watching as my clothes were completely torn open by Jet Zhao, the door to the sports room suddenly burst open from the outside. Someone rushed in. It was Lily Chi. She seemed to have sprinted all the way here, her hair stuck to her face with sweat. Without bothering to tidy herself up, she immediately rushed over and tightly embraced Jet Zhao. Jet, don't be with her. You're mine. I suddenly understood. Lily Chi and I have been reborn together, in our previous life. Lily Chi liked the school heartthrob, but he wrote me a love letter. Lily Chi was so jealous that she went crazy, drugged me, and forced me to marry the worst troublemaker in the entire school. Jet Zhao. More than a decade later, Jet Zhao became a billionaire investment tycoon known as Q God, and I, in turn, became a wealthy socialite living a life of luxury, carrying rare Hermes bags every day and driving a 7 million yuan Rolls-Royce. Everyone envies me, saying, "Elle really married well." Back when Jet Zhao was down and out, Elle had the vision to recognize his potential, and now it's her turn to enjoy the good life. Meanwhile, Lily Chi's wealthy second-generation husband has long since fallen from grace and become a deadbeat dodging debt collectors. He even often fawns over Jet Zhao, saying, "Brother-in-law, you must be the legendary Q, right? I really admire you. Could you take me along when you make investments?" Every time Lily Chi looks at me, there's an unmistakable envy in her eyes, along with deep regret. Sure enough, during a family gathering, after Jet Zhao said he was going to the restroom, I saw Lily Chi in the corner follow him. In the hallway, I moved to a dark spot and, through the thin door panel, heard my sister's drunken sobbing. "Jet, it was clearly me you liked back then." My sister hugged Jet Zhao and tried to kiss him. Jet Zhao gasped sharply and pushed his sister away abruptly. He said stiffly, "That was over a decade ago." His sister fell to the ground, still crying out desperately, "Have you forgotten? Back then, you brought me breakfast every day, took me out on bike rides, said I would always be your goddess, and promised to do anything I asked. Jet, you were supposed to be mine." Jet Zhao ignored his sister. He straightened his clothes, which had been messed up by her, and hurriedly rushed out the door. That expression was as if facing an unavoidable plague. My sister had lost all hope and sat dejectedly on the cold bathroom floor. I pushed open the bathroom door, glanced down at her, and spoke in a cold tone, "Don't sit here anymore. Those who know might think you failed to seduce your sister's husband, while those who don't might think you're acting out a teenage angst movie." Lily Chi suddenly looked up, her eyes filled with hatred as she stared at me. "Why should it be you, Elle Chi? How are you any better than me? Why is it you who married into a wealthy family now?" I coldly shook off her hand. "Sis, get this straight. I ended up with Jet Zhao because of you. Now that you see Jet Zhao has become successful, do you regret it?" "Unfortunately, it's already too late." My sister glared at me fiercely, and after a moment, she shook her head and smiled maliciously. "Elle, you're wrong. It's not too late at all." At the time, I didn't understand the meaning of those words, but at this moment, looking at my 17-year-old body, I understood. Lily Chi might have bound some kind of system, bringing me back to 17 with her, given a second chance at life. She wants to win back the man who should have been hers. At this moment, in the sports equipment room, Jet Zhao was panting heavily. He looked at me. Lily Chi forcibly turned Jet Zhao's head, making him look at her instead of me. "Jet, I love you." She took the initiative and kissed him. I struggled to get up and stumbled away in a hurry. "Thank heavens. Thank you, Lily Chi. I never dreamed that I could actually get a second chance to escape this nightmare in my previous life." Lily Chi gave both me and Jet Zhao drugged drinks and locked us in the sports equipment room. Then they brought my parents and neighbors to catch us in the act. The neighbors witnessed me and Jet Zhao in disheveled clothes. My parents felt deeply humiliated and were convinced that no other man would ever want me. So they forced me to marry Jet Zhao. I refused, so they imprisoned me at home, denying me food and water, and beat me severely every day. At that time, Lily Chi was crying beside me, pleading, "Sister, just marry Jet Zhao, otherwise, for the sake of the family's reputation, they might beat you to death." Finally, I was on the verge of death and was forced to marry Jet Zhao. Later, despite being immensely wealthy, this incident became the shadow of my life. Now, I have finally escaped from this shadow. During dinner, Lily Chi returned. As soon as she entered the door, she couldn't wait to announce that she was going to marry Jet Zhao. Upon hearing this, her parents were so shocked they couldn't even hold their chopsticks. "Lily, why is that? Jet Zhao has been held back so many times. He's still repeating grades even in his 20s. How is he worthy of you?" Lily Chi shook her head and said firmly, "Dad, Mom, I assure you, Jet Zhao may be down on his luck now, but he will definitely achieve great things in the future." Her parents couldn't believe this and tried even harder to persuade her, with her mother even starting to sob. Finally, Lily Chi grew extremely frustrated and said loudly, "It's no use trying to stop me. I'm already Jet Zhao's woman." Her parents were stunned. Seeing her parents' shocked and desperate expressions, Lily Chi smiled calmly. She sat down beside them, affectionately putting her arms around their shoulders, and began to comfort them. "Dad, Mom, you have to trust your daughter. Before, I told Dad not to go into business with Uncle Liu, and I told Mom not to keep going to that clinic in the East. Now it's been exposed that Uncle Liu ran off with the money, and that shady clinic had a medical accident. You see, everything I say comes true. Since I was little, the fortune teller said I was a lucky star. Have you forgotten?" After Lily Chi finished speaking, her parents' expressions relaxed considerably. She further persuaded them, "So, you should also trust my judgment in men. Jet Zhao carries immense financial luck, and there will be plenty of prosperity for us to enjoy in the future." Her mother was the first to be swayed. "Really?" Lily Chi laughed. "How could it be fake?" Dad also gradually took it seriously under Lily Chi's certainty, and he even began to worry in advance. "If Jet Zhao becomes successful, will he make you suffer?" Lily Chi smiled calmly and said, "No, Jet Zhao seems like the type who dotes on his wife at first glance. She must have been thinking about her past life." After Jet Zhao's identity as Q God was revealed, there were plenty of young beauties outside who wanted to throw themselves at him, but he never even glanced at them. Instead, he treated me, his original wife, even better, opening the car door for me when getting in and out, serving me food during meals, and never daring to go against my wishes. Although Lily Chi's wealthy second-generation husband is buried in debt, it doesn't stop him from staring at well-built young women on the street. In contrast, it's no wonder Lily Chi is green with envy. At this moment, listening to Lily Chi showering praise on Jet Zhao in front of my parents, I kept my head down and focused on eating, pretending not to hear. Unexpectedly, even though I didn't want to engage with Lily Chi, she still insisted on making her presence known in front of me. That evening, Lily Chi pushed open the door to my room. She stared at me, who was focused on my homework, and gave a cold smile. "El Chi, don't think I don't know what's on your mind. On the surface, you're quiet, but deep down, you're constantly scheming to win Jet Zhao back. Am I right? How should I put it? With my sister's narrow-mindedness, I'm almost embarrassed to admit we share the same mother. But I'm more than happy to let her misunderstand. Let Jet Zhao absorb all her attention. Only then will she not compete with me for what truly matters," Lily Chi said as she walked over, pinching my chin and forcing me to face the mirror beside us. "I advise you not to waste your energy. Look at yourself. How could you possibly compete with me if I decide to step in?" The mirror reflected a dark-skinned, thin girl wearing thick, heavy-framed glasses and draped in an old-school uniform that looked like a sack. Beside her, Lily Chi had a fair, jade-like complexion, smooth black hair, and was dressed in the latest seasonal dress. A stunning beauty who turned heads with every step she took. I really don't look as delicate as Lily Chi. And on top of that, my parents are biased, giving the best food and clothes to Lily Chi, which has left me malnourished, pale, and thin, making the difference even more obvious. "Look at you. Do you really think any boy would like you? In my ears, Lily Chi was still relentlessly mocking me, as if she wanted to vent all the grievances she had suffered in her past life. Jet Zhao was always my admirer. In the past life, he couldn't win me over, so he married you instead. This time, I won't give you another chance. As soon as I come of age, I'll register the marriage with him immediately. By then, he'll be the Q god, and half of all his wealth will be mine. As Lily Chi said this, her eyes were gleaming. Indeed, at the peak of his career, Q god had billions in assets. Getting half of it in a divorce would be more than enough to live a life of luxury, enjoying fine food and drinks, and even dating younger men for the rest of her life. I twirled the pen in my hand, my head bowed deeply. Lily Chi thought I was crushed by her words, but in truth, I lowered my head just to hide the smile on my lips. Dear sister, I really like this contempt you have for me. It is precisely because of this deep-seated contempt that I'm afraid even if you were reborn 10,000 times, you would never imagine, the real Q god is me. Yes, I am the one who, with wisdom, courage, and luck, started from scratch, first amassing a fortune in the stock market, then heavily investing in Bitcoin at the perfect moment, ultimately achieving complete financial freedom, since my throwaway ID on the investment forum was simply typed as QWERTY on the keyboard. People started calling me Q God. Too many people are curious about the true identity of Q God, and I know I can't stay behind the scenes forever, so I pushed Jet Zhao to the forefront, making him my puppet, or rather, a scapegoat. After all, our circle is full of ups and downs. Sudden wealth makes one a target of everyone's envy, while sudden poverty breeds many desperate individuals. Over those years, Jet Zhao was kidnapped 3 times and brutally beaten by enemies on 4 occasions. When he went back with me to visit relatives, he had just been beaten, and one of his ribs was still broken. This is why when Lily Chi hugged him, he not only gasped in pain but also pushed her away immediately. But even after enduring all these attacks in public, Jet Zhao absolutely dared not speak the truth. He doesn't dare to offend me. As a puppet, he can at least enjoy wealth and honor. Without me, he would truly be nothing. At this moment, I look at Lily Chi, who is kept in the dark, and show a genuine smile. Sister, I said softly, I wish you and Jet Zhao a happy and lasting marriage. Go ahead and tie the knot with him. As for me, I will focus on my college entrance exams, save up money, go to university in Beijing, and leave this home forever. I sincerely hope that Jet Zhao and Lily Chi will be happy together. However, after school, I was stopped by Jet Zhao. He rode his bike and blocked my way, whistling at me like a hooligan. You look pretty today. Why are you dressed so nicely? I took a step back, feeling a chill run down my spine. I know Jet Zhao's true nature all too well. He is a complete scumbag. In the world of scoundrels, the one you haven't slept with is always the best. In the previous life, this person was my sister, now it has become me. Clenching my teeth, I tried to dodge to the side. I'm going to work, get out of my way. Lately, I've been working as a cashier at a supermarket, trying to save up some capital for myself. The boss is very kind. Seeing me in an ill-fitting school uniform with pants that were too short, he even brought his daughter's clothes for me to wear. The light blue cardigan and snow-white midi skirt made me look much prettier than usual. It turns out that Jet Zhao has taken notice of me. At this moment, he approached with a cheeky grin. Working? What kind of work? I've got work here too. Want to give it a try? As he spoke, he tried to press his body closer. I fought back the nausea, my hand silently reaching into my backpack to grip the self-defense scissors. But before I could pull out the scissors, a figure rushed out from the side. She shoved me aside forcefully and stood protectively in front of Jet Zhao. Chi, what are you doing rubbing up against Jet? Her voice was loud as she pointed a finger at my nose. You're trying to seduce your own sister's fiancé. Have you no shame? Jet Zhao stood in the distance, rubbed his nose, and played along, saying, I just happened to run into Elle while riding my bike, and she wouldn't let me leave. Upon hearing this, Lily Chi grew even more furious. Chi, are you still refusing to give up? Why don't you take a look in the mirror and see where you even measure up to Jet Zhao? I'm determined to marry Jet Zhao in this lifetime. If you dare try to seduce him again, don't blame me for making Mom and Dad sell you off to the mountains. After saying that, Lily Chi grabbed Jet Zhao and turned to leave, but clearly, she was still uneasy. That night, when I returned home, I found my room turned upside down. The metal box I used to save money had been found and was lying open in the middle of the room. Inside is the salary I've saved up from working at the supermarket, but now the box is completely empty. And all the bills are clutched in Lily Chi's hand. Lily Chi looks at me triumphantly, waving the money in one hand while pointing at my nose with the other, her long nails almost poking my face. This is the secret stash L Chi has been hiding. She's always out and about these days. But it's actually because she's sleeping with the owner of the department store. I saw the supermarket owner give her money with my own eyes, and he even took her to buy new clothes. Lily Chi pointed at the cardigan and skirt I was wearing, curling her lips in disdain. TSK, I bet everyone over there knows by now that the Chi family has a mistress. Before I could say anything, my father, with a dark expression, rushed over and slapped me hard across the face. The mother cried and complained beside her. The fortune teller said back then that this girl was unlucky. I took several doses of abortion medicine, but it just wouldn't work. Now look. She's completely shamed our family. Mom and Dad are always like this. They unconditionally favor my sister. My sister can be forgiven no matter what she does, and when I was still a fetus, a master said I was a disaster star. Not long after I was born, my father's business went bankrupt. So everything I do is wrong. At this moment, my father confiscated all the money I had saved and started whipping me with a belt. Lily Chi stood by, fanning the flames with a smug smile on her lips. Yet her tone was full of feigned tears. Don't blame your father for hitting you so hard. If I don't hit you hard enough, you won't learn your lesson. A girl must have self-respect. You must never go out and earn that kind of dirty money again. Finally, I passed out from the intense pain. When I woke up again, I was lying in the yard. My parents had taken Lily Chi out shopping. Lily Chi is getting engaged soon, and they wanted to buy her a nice dress, but I had lost all the money I had saved. And there wasn't even any medicine by my side. Struggling to get up, I groped my way out of the yard. The yard next door belongs to my cousin, and at this moment, only my cousin's wife is outside washing clothes. She was startled to see me, so weak that I couldn't even speak. Oh my God, what happened? My cousin's wife dropped the clothes and came over to support me, only to find her hand covered in blood. Wait a moment, I'll go get the medicine for you. I lay on the open ground in the yard, gazing at the sky. The moon is very bright, but there are always some dark corners in the world that it cannot illuminate. My cousin's wife is applying medicine to me. You say your parents, how could they be so harsh? After all, you're their own daughter. My cousin's wife wiped her tears. She is a kind-hearted person with a soft heart, but her life has been hard. She is barely literate. She only made it to the 3rd grade before her family pulled her out of school to help with chores and take care of her younger brother. Later, her father sold her to my cousin to help pay for her brother's bride price. At this moment, she tenderly applied medicine to my wounds, while I gently touched her arm, which was also covered in scars. My cousin often beat her. In my previous life, my cousin's wife passed away before I even turned 20. After a long silence, I suddenly spoke up. Cousin's wife, do you have any secret savings? My cousin's wife was taken aback for a moment. Don't worry, I won't tell your cousin. She breathed a sigh of relief. I have 2,000 yuan. What's up? Is it because you want to go to school and your family won't give you the money? If it is, then take it. Studying is a serious matter, and girls should be educated. My nose tingled with emotion, and I forced myself to hold back, not letting myself cry, in the bitterest moments of fate. There are pitiful people striving to give each other a little sweetness. I said softly, no, sister-in-law, I'm not asking for your support. I want to help you earn money. I can turn your 2,000 into 20,000, or even 200,000. My cousin's wife burst out laughing. She clearly didn't believe me and said to me as if coaxing a child, all right, just take this 2,000 for your studies. You can pay me back after you graduate from college. We're family. How could I charge you interest? I didn't say anything and looked out at the boundless night sky. In my previous life, I became successful too late. By the time I returned to my hometown, my cousin's wife had already passed away from depression. In this life, I must help her. It's also helping myself. Sister, you're too foolish. Given the chance to turn back time, all you can think about is snatching a man. while my mind is filled with stock codes. Do you even know what kind of cheat code you've given me? Early Monday morning, I took the money my cousin's wife gave me to school, planning to sneak away unnoticed during the big break to open an account at the securities firm. I hadn't expected that. Just as I rode my bike out of the school gate not far, a figure suddenly darted out from the alley ahead. The person swung a spiked wooden stick at me. I dodged in panic and fell straight off my bicycle, hitting the ground hard, ignoring the pain. I first covered my backpack. It contained all the private savings my cousin's wife had given me. Before me was a pair of brand-name shoes, and looking up, I saw a plump, round face gazing down at me with a malicious smile. I recognized him. He was my sister's husband in her previous life, Chin Yong. Since middle school, Chin Yong had been a loyal follower, or simp, trailing behind Lily Chi. He is a rich second-generation heir, his father doing business in the South. While the rest of us were still stuck in drab school uniforms and wearing off-brand shoes, Chin Yong was already well-versed in various international luxury brands. Chin Yong pursued Lily Chi for many years. Lily Chi disliked Chin Yong's appearance but couldn't let go of his wealth, so throughout her youth, she kept him at arm's length, treating him as her number one backup option. Later, as Lily Chi grew older and didn't meet any men with better conditions, she ended up marrying Chin Yong. Little did they know that shortly after getting married, Chin Yong's family went bankrupt. Lily Chi, who had also invested in the family business, was implicated, and the entire family ended up as defaulters, unable to even take high-speed trains. However disheartened Chin Yong might be in the future, at this moment, he was still the arrogant young master from a prominent family. Someone you simply couldn't afford to offend, so I clutched my backpack and cautiously took a step back, wanting to avoid a direct confrontation with him. But Chin Yong wasn't about to let me go. He nudged my face with the tip of his shoe and sneered, "Lily always tells me her sister is a dishonest little wretch. And now I've caught you, sneaking out of school like this. What are you up to?" I whispered, "Buying some things." "Buying things?" Chin Yong chuckled. Suddenly, he stopped laughing and roughly grabbed my backpack strap, dumping everything inside out. Pencil cases and books scattered all over the ground, and an envelope fell out along with them. I wanted to snatch it, but Chin Yong was quick and grabbed the envelope in an instant. "Wow, so much money." Chin Yong waved the cash in his hand. "What are you buying?" "Wedding candies for your sister and me." He put away the envelope and said coldly, "Don't think I don't know. Lily told me everything. You're so vain and jealous of her that you'd even become someone's mistress just to earn money for pretty dresses. So, did you steal this money or cheat someone out of it? I'm going to tell Lily right now." Chin Yong kicked me into the corner, sending dust flying everywhere. I choked on the dust and coughed violently. But suddenly, my mind became clear. Chin Yong following me was indeed instructed by Lily Chi. I was reborn along with her, although she has already taken Jet Jiao. She still doesn't trust me, so she sent her lackey Chin Yong to keep an eye on me. That's not the main point. The main point is what Chin Yong just said unintentionally. "Buy wedding candies for your sister and me." I suddenly burst into laughter. Great, Chin Yong clearly didn't know that my sister was already with Jet Jiao. Come to think of it, it makes sense. He still had value to Lily Chi. If Lily Chi told Chin Yong that she was about to get engaged to someone else, why would he continue to serve her? Chin Yong originally intended to turn and leave, but then he suddenly noticed the smile at the corner of my mouth. He couldn't help but frown. "What are you laughing at?" My smile grew even brighter. "I'm just happy for my sister. You love her so much and protect her so well. I'm sure I'll have a wonderful brother-in-law in the future," I said softly. "I'm really looking forward to your wedding." This is the kind of talk Chin Yong loves to hear. His expression relaxed slightly, but he still glanced at me sideways, saying such sweet words now, "Hoping I'll let you off the hook." "You don't need to let me off the hook. I haven't done anything wrong." I stood up, dusting off my clothes. "This money was given to me by my cousin's wife. She heard about my sister's happy news and asked me to buy some gifts for her on her behalf." Chin Yong's expression suddenly changed, and he frowned. "What happy news?" I feigned confusion. "I don't know either. But I heard from my parents that they plan to arrange an engagement for my sister before she goes to college. After all, everyone in our hometown knows each other well, and we all grew up together. It's better than her going to a big city later and being deceived by some bad guy." I observed Qin Yong's expression and then smiled. Silly, you still haven't figured it out. Qin Yong looked somewhat bewildered. Figured out what? The person my sister is getting engaged to is definitely you. I said with a grin. Think about it, everyone knows you like my sister. When my parents mentioned growing up together, who among the guys around here could be a better match for my sister than you? Qin Yong's face lit up with joy, and he said hesitantly, why has Lily never mentioned this to me? I chided him. My sister is quite shy, she must be too embarrassed to say anything, but I'm sure she'll tell you in the next few days. Oh. And I've noticed she's been running off to that small grove behind the school lately. She's probably preparing some surprise for you. Qin Yong, caught up in the thrill of romance, exclaimed in delight. Really? Is that true? Why don't you go check it out for yourself? I reached out to Qin Yong. Give me the money. I still need to go pick out a dress for my sister. Brother-in-law, do you prefer pink or blue? I'll choose according to your preference. The term brother-in-law made Qin Yong ecstatic. Without much thought, he slapped the envelope into my palm. Pink. After saying that, he dashed off in the direction of the school, probably in a hurry to see what surprise Lily Chi had prepared for him. I laughed, got on my bike, and was in such a good mood that I even started whistling. This surprise will surely be unforgettable for Qin Yong for the rest of his life. I rushed to the securities company, where my cousin's wife was already anxiously waiting at the door. It was her first time in the trading hall, and as she looked at the various fluctuating colors and numbers on the screen, she felt completely lost. Can you make sense of this thing? I don't even need to look, from the moment I bought my first stock. The market trends from decades before and after have been imprinted in my mind, unforgettable for life. I didn't say any of this to my cousin's wife, just smiled and said, I understand. Just trust me. At the securities company, I also saw a familiar figure, Qin Yong's father, President Qin. He was originally handling some business with his secretary when he received a phone call. His expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly got into the black car parked at the entrance, heading in the direction of our school. I stood at the door, silently watching the car disappear. My cousin's wife, who had just finished the paperwork, came to my side and asked, What are you looking at? I glanced at the sky. Nothing much, it's just about to change weather. Sure enough, the weather changed. With my assistance, Qin Yong eagerly rushed to the small grove, waiting to see the surprise Lily Chi had prepared for him. As soon as he entered the grove, he heard indescribable sounds, and upon looking closer, he discovered that the main characters were none other than his goddess Lily Chi and the small-time thug Jet Zhao, whom he had never given a second glance. This could be said to be the biggest shock Qin Yong had experienced in nearly 20 years of his life. By the time he came to his senses, the sound of an ambulance was already echoing all around. Jet Zhao had been beaten so badly by him that he was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. By the time I arrived at the hospital, Jet Zhao was already awake, wrapped in bandages like a rice dumpling, unable to move in his hospital bed. This scene felt quite familiar to me. After all, in my previous life, I pushed him to the forefront to take the blame for me, and he often ended up beaten like this. But Lily Chi had never seen such a scene before. She stayed by the hospital bed, crying so hard she could barely breathe. Qin Yong was dragged into the hospital room by his father, Mr. Qin, who was originally afraid his son would go to jail and came to negotiate a private settlement with compensation. But Qin Yong charged in like a raging bull, his eyes turning red the moment he entered the room, and he rushed straight at Jet Zhao. If it weren't for Mr. Qin's two secretaries quickly restraining him, Jet Zhao would probably have been thrown out the window. Qin Yong, apologize now, Mr. Qin urged anxiously. Apologize for what? I did nothing wrong. Qin Yong panted heavily, pointing at Jet Zhao on the hospital bed. He assaulted Lily, that's why I hit him. Poor Qin Yong. As an ordinary person without a reincarnated perspective, his first reaction upon seeing Jet Zhao and Lily Chi together was naturally this. At this moment, Qin Yong looked at Lily Chi with pleading eyes. Lily, say something for me. I did it to save you, Mr. Qin also gained hope and turned to Lily Chi. Classmate, you're an eyewitness. Tell everyone the truth, for a moment. Everyone in the hospital room turned their gaze to Lily Chi. She gritted her teeth, sinking into a long and difficult struggle. Finally, she blushed and whispered, We did it willingly. Qin Yong's face instantly turned deathly pale. What, Lily, you can't possibly. Although Jet Zhao on the hospital bed was covered in casts, he still managed to squeeze out a triumphant smile. A lowlife like him from the gutter would never have the ability to make a wealthy young master like Qin Yong suffer a setback in his entire life. Yet Lily Qi actually gave him this opportunity. He was practically ecstatic, feeling like he was about to take off. That's right, Lily and I are in love with each other, Jet Zhao said loudly, ignoring the pain from his wound. It was Qin Yong who intentionally hurt me. He should go to jail, mister. Qin's face darkened. He took a step forward, ignoring Jet Zhao on the bed, and instead attempted to pressure Lily Qi. Young lady, I advise you to think carefully before you speak. The Qin family is powerful and influential, to the point where even my parents began to feel afraid. They started hinting to Lily Qi, Lily, maybe you should think it over again. It's clear that Lily Qi is really torn, but she can't afford to offend Jet Zhao. Not only that, she must firmly capture Jet Zhao's heart. After all, he is the legendary Q. And compared to the billions in future wealth, the Qin family seems insignificant at this moment. So she tightly grasped Jet Zhao's hand. What is there to think about? Jet and I are truly in love, and anyone who harms Jet should pay the price. Qin Yong could no longer hold back, shook off his secretary's hand, rushed forward, and slapped Lily Qi. Lily Qi, are you blind? In his previous life, Qin Yong went bankrupt not long after getting married and was very submissive in front of Lily Qi, who had always looked down on him. This was the first time she had been slapped by this person she despised so much, and she immediately went crazy. Qin Yong, who do you think you are? She pushed Qin Yong away forcefully. A good-for-nothing rich second generation. Do you think your family's money makes you special? Let me tell you, in a few years, you'll go bankrupt. As soon as these words were spoken, even Mr. Qin, who was standing not far away, turned ashen-faced. In the end, Mr. Qin stormed out, and Qin Yong chased after him, leaving only our family in the hospital room. My father anxiously wrung his hands, saying, This, Lily, why did you have to offend the Qin family like this? In recent years, my father has relied on the Qin family's resources to run a small business. With Lily Qi offending the Qin family to this extent, there's no way my father's business can continue. Lily Qi frowned impatiently. Dad, don't be so short-sighted. If the business is gone, it's gone. She looked at Jet Zhao with a gaze as if he were a rare treasure, saying gently, with Jet, we'll have everything. In the days that followed, Mom and Dad were busy dealing with the Qin family's provocations in the business world. My sister was busy going to the hospital to be affectionate with Jet Zhao. I am busy studying and making money. Everyone has a bright future. When Lily Qi went home to make soup for Jet Zhao, she caught me studying hard and doing exercises. Study away. She sneered. Study as hard as you can. Even if you get into Tsinghua or Peking University, you'll still end up with a dead-end salary. I can't be bothered with her. I'm focused on solving the problems. In my previous life, I was forced to follow Jet Zhao and missed the opportunity to attend university. Later, I obtained a degree through self-study exams, but it still left me with too many regrets. Lily Qi doesn't understand that not all actions are aimed at money. Money is a tool to achieve happiness, not happiness itself. For example, I want to experience 4 years of academic life, to have a campus romance untouched by societal pressures, to chat about gossip and the future with my roommates in the dorm, and to go for late-night snacks with friends from the club after finishing activities together. These are joys that I never experienced in my previous life. After Lily Qi left, I met up with my sister-in-law. She had a silk scarf covering the lower half of her face, and the brim of my baseball cap was pulled down very low. Both of us looked as if we were up to no good. I bought and sold everything exactly as you instructed, my sister-in-law said. This is your money. She handed over a passbook. I was surprised to find that, aside from the principal of 2,000 yuan, my sister-in-law had given all the rest of the money to me. What are you doing? I said. This is all the profit earned from your principal. It's your money. I'll just take a commission. My sister-in-law waved her hand. I didn't do anything. Why should I take the money? It was just a loan of 2,000 yuan to you, and now you've paid it back. How could I take the money you earned? That would be asking for a lightning strike. I had no choice and argued with my sister-in-law many times, but she just refused. "All right, sister-in-law," I said, "I'll hire you." My sister-in-law was taken aback. "Hire me for what? I still need to prepare for exams and will require your help with many follow-up tasks. Also, I can't open an account myself before I turn 18, so I still need to use your account for operations." I said, "You should charge me a commission for this part." My cousin's wife waved her hand. "We're all family." I grabbed her hand. "And besides, once I graduate, I'll have my own business, and I hope to hire you as my BD then." My cousin's wife widened her eyes. "What's BD?" I said. "Business development. You're outgoing, articulate, likable, and good at building relationships. I think this role would suit you well." Before my cousin's wife could say anything, there was a noise at my front door. Lily Chi and Jet Zhao had returned. My cousin's wife and I immediately exchanged a knowing glance and silently dispersed. Each returning to our own homes, this was something we had long agreed upon. Now that we had a sum of money that could be considered a fortune, it was like a child carrying gold through a bustling market, extremely unsafe. Therefore, until I was strong enough, I would never let anyone find out that we had made money. I went home alone and heard Lily Chi and Jet Zhao happily chatting about something in the bedroom. Jet Zhao's voice was filled with the excitement of someone about to reach the peak of life. Teacher Lee said that the others are just average, but me, he took one look and knew I was no ordinary person. That's why he decided to teach me everything he's learned in the investment world. Lily Chi was extremely excited. "Jet, I knew this day would come." I peeled an apple in the kitchen and ate it by myself. "Oh, Teacher Lee, I understand what's going on now. In my previous life, my parents spent money to send Lily Chi to a private school in Beijing for a preparatory course, and she never met Teacher Lee. But I did meet him. This Mr. Lee is always impeccably dressed, forever in a three-piece suit and vest, paired with fluent English, and is said to have returned from Wall Street. He possesses an incredibly strong personal charm and excels at delivering captivating speeches, in which Mr. Lee claims to have achieved complete financial freedom, stating that his life goal now is to help his fellow villagers prosper together. It can be said that Mr. Lee's appearance perfectly met Lily Chi's expectations. After all, Jet Zhao started as an uneducated troublemaker but eventually became the Q god with a net worth of billions. This change is akin to a young man with mediocre talent finally growing into a great master. In between, there must have been fortuitous events like stumbling upon a martial arts manual or receiving guidance from a master, those kinds of golden finger moments. And now, Lily Chi waited and waited, and finally, this golden finger moment arrived. "Tomorrow, we'll go see Teacher Lee again, Jet. You follow Teacher Lee and study hard. Don't worry about anything else." Jet Zhao looked troubled, but the 60,000 yuan apprenticeship fee that Teacher Lee mentioned, Lily Chi gritted her teeth. "I'll scrape it together for you." The apple in my mouth nearly chipped my tooth. I knew Lily Chi wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I never expected her brain to be this smooth. Indeed, if one can attribute all the failures of their past life to not choosing the right man, then naturally, in this life, they can once again believe that all opportunities for a turnaround lie with a Wall Street elite like Teacher Lee, who charges a 60,000 yuan apprenticeship fee. In my past life, I also encountered this Teacher Lee. At the time, Jet Zhao was also incredibly excited, desperately wanting to follow Teacher Lee to make a fortune. I stopped him. Back then, I was also a young woman with little life experience, but I could still tell that something was off about Teacher Lee. Those who can truly make a lot of money value their time immensely, so why would they come out to teach us how to make money? Besides, if they're already so wealthy, why would they charge us a 60,000 yuan apprenticeship fee? At that time, Jet Zhao criticized me for having a narrow perspective. Don't use your petty mindset to judge Teacher Lee's intentions. He no longer cares about making money, he just wants to help us prosper. This is about spreading kindness and accumulating good karma for his next life. Then why does he still charge a 60,000 yuan apprenticeship fee? This is just a screening process. Teacher Lee wants to see our sincerity. In the end, because I firmly disagreed, Jet Zhao went to find Teacher Lee on his own. He didn't have the money to pay the apprenticeship fee, but Teacher Li didn't dwell on it and even expressed willingness to take him as a disciple. Jet Zhao felt even more deeply the greatness of Teacher Li and wished he could repay him with unwavering loyalty. Later, Jet Zhao followed Teacher Li to the south, and I lost contact with him for over a year. Later, when I saw him again, he had escaped from the pyramid scheme and called me crying, "El, save me." To be honest, I still felt a hint of pity for Lily Chi and Jet Zhao, who were about to join Mr. Li, but that evening, I overheard Lily Chi talking to my mom. "Mom, Elle is turning 18 this weekend. I think it's time for her to start matchmaking." Jet Zhao said he knows a wealthy older man. He is indeed a bit older, but is willing to offer 180,000 as a betrothal gift. Our family hasn't been doing well lately. Dad lost his business, and Jet Zhao has a money-making opportunity. But it requires 60,000 in initial capital. So, you see, maybe we should arrange for Elle to meet him as soon as possible. If she's satisfied, the betrothal gift can be transferred. So, the way Lily Chi said she would come up with the 60,000 apprenticeship fee was by selling me off, so the last trace of pity in my heart vanished without a trace. Go ahead and dig your own grave, sis. I'm really looking forward to watching you dig your way into hell. Sure enough, on my 18th birthday, my family surprisingly bought me a cream cake. The birthday gift was a new dress. My parents had me put it on and twirl in front of the mirror, showering me with praise. "Elle, you've grown into such a beauty, getting prettier by the day." Even Lily Chi chimed in with admiration. "Elle looks so sweet and well-behaved. And she's got great grades too. Rich people love that kind of girl." Taking her words as a cue, my parents seized the moment to bring up the idea of setting me up on a blind date. "Although that person is a few years older than you, thank you, he is 47, and I am 18, but he has a good temper, and older men know how to care for people. Thank you." His first two wives divorced him because they couldn't endure the domestic violence. I was cursing inside, but on the surface, I smiled sweetly. "Sure, thank you, Mom and Dad, and sister, for caring so much about my future. I'm also very willing to go on a blind date, but with the college entrance exam coming up, how about I meet him after I finish the exam?" Mom, Dad, and Lily Chi didn't expect me to be so cooperative and were very pleased. At night, I overheard them discussing it. Elle probably also knew that relying on herself to search wouldn't yield anything good. Hearing that the other party had money, she was certainly happy about it herself. I sneered coldly while continuing to review. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the college entrance exam. Given that in this life I wasn't forced to marry Jet Zhao, I was able to smoothly take the college entrance exam. I've always had excellent grades, and when I handed in the last exam paper, I felt confident. After leaving the exam hall, I didn't go home at all and went straight to a hotel. My cousin's wife was already waiting there. "This is what you asked for." She handed me a newly purchased suitcase, inside of which were clothes, a computer, a phone, and toiletries, all bought by my cousin's wife according to the list I had provided. "I don't plan on going home. If you leave like this, your parents will probably be very worried." I took the suitcase. "Even if they are worried, it's only about the missing betrothal money, not about me." I looked up and gazed sincerely at my sister-in-law. "Come with me, sister-in-law. This summer, I'm going to Shenzhen. There are many opportunities there. You can be my BD. And together we can make a fortune." My sister-in-law, her hands accustomed to housework, tightly clutched the hem of her clothes. I could see that she was afraid. After a long while, she sighed. "Elle, you go ahead. You're someone destined for great things." "I can't do it, sister-in-law." Li Wenying bid farewell to Elle Chi and returned home alone. She cried all the way as she walked. She hated herself, yet didn't know exactly what she was hating. She was not a brave person. The first half of her life had accustomed her to following others' orders. Her parents told her to stop going to school, so she stopped. They told her to stay home and take care of her younger brother, so she became his second mother. They told her to marry someone to pay for her brother's bride price, so she married a husband who beats her. Her husband tells her to do something, and she does it. It seems everyone around is like this. No one resists. The only one who taught her to resist was Elle Chi, but she's just a girl who just turned 18. Young girls are always full of naive courage, and she didn't have the courage even when she was a young girl, So now that she's this old, she has even less. Li Wenying returned home. The house was in complete disarray, with the husband lying on the mattress, surrounded by liquor bottles. As soon as she entered the door, a liquor bottle flew over, hitting the doorframe and shattering, sending glass shards all over her. Only coming back now, trying to starve me to death. Is that it? Such conversations happened every day. Li Wenying lowered her head and went to the kitchen to cook. She chopped the cutting board with a loud thud, trying to drown out her husband's curses with the sound of her chopping. But the insults still poured relentlessly into her ears. You don't have a job, you don't contribute a single penny to this household, you eat my food and live under my roof. So you'd better serve me well, and stop trying to fool me with that nonsense about a cyst. I'm telling you, if you don't give me a son this year, I'll break your legs. Li Wenying silently continued chopping the vegetables. A surge of indescribable warmth welled up inside her, and her hands moved faster and faster as she chopped. She remembered many things. She thought of her savings passbook, how her husband only gave her 1,000 yuan each month for household expenses, scolding her for not managing money well, while now her account held 100,000 yuan, left to her by El Chi. She remembered El Chi's words, sister-in-law, awakening is a long process, but also a sudden moment. We all thought that by giving in a little, we could get by, but actually, that doesn't work. There will be a moment when you think, to hell with it, I'm done. At that moment, you will step into a whole new world. Li Wenying was cutting potatoes when she heard the man yelling loudly, "Are you done yet? I told you to cook, and you're just dawdling in the kitchen. Are you trying to starve me to death? You've been running around outside all day lately. I ought to chain you up like a dog." Li Wenying suddenly slammed the knife down on the cutting board. She said, "Screw him." It was a strange afternoon. Li Wenying's husband suddenly found his wife, who was known for her good temper, rushing out of the kitchen with a kitchen knife in hand. She yelled, "To hell with this, I'm done." Li Wenying stormed out of the house. She left everything behind, wearing only slippers and an apron, taking nothing with her. Behind her were many things: the home she had meticulously cared for, her marriage, and her family of origin. But she didn't look back even once. She was running on the road, with only a vast setting sun ahead, but she had a strong feeling. She was running toward a new world. 1. As I was about to leave the hotel for the train station, my cousin's wife came running in a hurry. She had lost one of her slippers, her hair was a mess, and she was still wearing an apron around her waist. She rushed over, panting heavily. I've made up my mind. I want to go with you. You put down that kitchen knife first, then we'll talk." My cousin's wife, Li Wenying, was in the kitchen chopping vegetables on the day she bid farewell to the old world. In her overwhelming excitement, she forgot to put down the kitchen knife. Thanks to that kitchen knife, her brutal husband didn't dare to stop her, and she managed to escape from home safely and smoothly. I went to buy a new pair of shoes for my cousin's wife, and then I went to buy a train ticket for her. My cousin's wife kept looking at me with sparkling eyes. Didn't you say before that you wanted me to be your BB? What do I need to learn? Although I'm older, I can learn anything. It's BD, I corrected my cousin's wife. And you're not old. A 25-year-old woman still has plenty of time for everything. There's still time. My cousin's wife enthusiastically agreed with me. I think I can definitely be a good DD. It's okay. Starting is a good thing. In the future, we still have plenty of time to take it slow. The train set off from the tracks. The slanting sun outside the window was golden. My cousin's wife excitedly started studying her vocabulary book beside me, while I leaned against the window, gazing at the endless scenery outside. The next 10 years will be a decade of rapid growth. The economic landscape in China will undergo earth-shaking changes. With vast waters come big fish. Opportunities are limitless. I am ready. This time, I will only do better than before. I saw Lily Chi again 3 years later. She and Jet Zhao had escaped from a pyramid scheme den and were giving statements at the police station. Since I was a relative, the police summoned me. When I saw Lily Chi again, I could hardly recognize her. Although only 3 years had passed, Lily Chi seemed to have aged 20 years. She had gray hair at an early age, with deep frown lines between her eyebrows, and Jet Zhao had a hunched back and a cunning look in his eyes. How should I put it? From a young troublemaker to an old troublemaker. And Lily Chi didn't recognize me either. I was wearing a silk dress with no logo, but the fabric alone made it clear it was expensive. My once dark and rough skin had been nourished to a fair and delicate tone, and my dull, yellowish hair had turned jet black and smooth, casually draped over my shoulders. The car that took me to the police station was a familiar Rolls-Royce. The driver in white gloves opened the door for me, and a bodyguard in a black suit followed silently behind. Lily Chi watched me take a seat in front of her, completely stunned. No, impossible. I feigned confusion. What's impossible? You didn't marry Jet Zhao. Jet Zhao is mine. Lily Chi's voice suddenly became hoarse and strained. Why did you become rich? I frowned impatiently. Sis, it's been 3 years since we last saw each other, and this is the first thing you say to me. When have I ever competed with you for Jet Zhao? He's definitely yours. You can rest assured about that. My tone was cold. I already knew about what happened 3 years ago. Since I left immediately after the college entrance exam and my parents couldn't find me, the arranged marriage naturally fell through. To raise the 60,000 yuan apprenticeship fee for Jet Zhao, Lily Chi took out a high-interest loan. She firmly believed that investing in Jet Zhao was worth it, no matter how high the loan interest was. It would be insignificant compared to Jet Zhao's future wealth. One wrong step leads to another. They loyally followed teacher Li South, all the way into the pyramid scheme den. They were controlled, abused, and deprived of their freedom. Lily Chi was almost driven insane, repeatedly asking Jet Zhao, "Did you experience this in your past life?" But Jet Zhao hasn't been reborn, so naturally, he can't answer her question. At this moment, Lily Chi is facing me, trying hard to figure out where things went wrong. After a long while, she reveals an eerie smile. I see, you've noted the stocks Jet Zhao bought in your previous life and are repeating his actions in this one. Right, I fiddled with the jade ring on my finger, too lazy to pay attention to Lily Chi. With that level of intelligence, she really isn't worthy of a conversation with me. The golden opportunity of rebirth is right in front of her. She could at least memorize a few lottery numbers instead of obsessing over Jet Zhao. It's okay, Jet Zhao has already escaped from the pyramid scheme, and he can buy stocks now. El Chi, just you wait. In this lifetime, I will definitely live better than you. So, after leaving the police station, Lily Chi borrowed money from everywhere, working hard to gather funds for Jet Zhao to buy stocks. But I don't understand this. Jet Zhao was very confused. Don't be afraid, you're the Q God. Just buy based on your intuition. Jet Zhao didn't know what the Q God was, but he had always been clueless about his own capabilities. Hearing Lily Chi praise him so highly and reading a few online stories about people making fortunes from stock trading, he immediately got fired up, thinking he would be the next one to succeed. So he made a large purchase. At first, they actually made a small amount of money by sheer luck. Lily Chi was overjoyed, and they quickly reinvested all their money into the stock market. Then came an unprecedented crash. Lily Chi couldn't believe it. She grabbed Jet Zhao's hand. It's okay, Jet, you're the Q God. We can definitely turn this around. They decided to get a good night's sleep first, to rest and clear their minds, and figure things out the next day. The next morning, when Jet Zhao woke up, he rubbed his eyes and told Lily Chi that he had a dream. I dreamed that in my past life, when Elle and I were in the sports equipment room, you didn't barge in, and we ended up getting married. Later, you went to Beijing to study and married Qin Yong. I stayed in our hometown with Elle, and teacher Li also appeared. I wanted to become his apprentice, but Elle wouldn't allow it, so I went behind her back, only to end up being tricked into a pyramid scheme. A few years later, I managed to escape, and Elle came to the police station to bail me out. By then, she was already very wealthy. She said she didn't want to deal with me anymore, and if I still wanted to follow her, I had to do things for her. She told me to do media interviews. Those media outlets took my photos and called me Q God. I agreed and answered their questions with the lines Elle made me memorize. Honestly, I didn't understand anything. I was just a shield for Elle. People who hated Q God would take their revenge on me. I almost got killed several times. I knew Elle hated me. This was her punishment, but I didn't dare leave, and I didn't dare tell the truth. I was afraid that if Elle abandoned me, I'd really become nothing but social scum. After Jet Zhao finished speaking, he saw that Lily Chi's face looked frighteningly awful. He reached out his hand and waved it in front of Lily Chi. Wife, are you angry? Jet Zhao coaxed her. I dreamed of being with your sister. Are you jealous? Sorry, I definitely love you the most. Jet Zhao muttered in confusion, but that dream was so detailed. Could it actually be real? Before Jet Zhao could finish speaking, he heard Lily Chi let out a piercing scream. She grabbed her own hair, screaming desperately, and even banged her head against the wall. Before Jet Zhao could grab her, Lily Chi fainted. Well, your sister woke up like this. In the psychiatric hospital, I look at the woman before me. She has gone mad, sitting on the bed, giggling incessantly. Then bursting into tears. I gave so much. I am the female lead of a rebirth novel, and the female leads in rebirth novels are all destined to reach the pinnacle of life. Why hasn't anything changed? I called Jet Zhao to leave and sat down beside Lily Chi. Sis, you don't understand. What matters isn't rebirth. It's the advantage of having information asymmetry, the change in thinking and perception, and you don't have any of that. But I still want to thank you for bringing me back, I said sincerely. Thanks to you, I have lived an incredibly successful life. Lily Chi stared at me, and after a moment, she let out another scream. Keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't harm herself. After giving instructions to the medical staff, I left the psychiatric hospital. Today, I have an important person to meet. At the deepest part of Lane 1, there is a tile blue roof, and a sign is placed at the door, wishing shop. 10 yuan per visit. It looks like a shop that only middle school students would frequent. I walked into the shop. The handsome young man, who had been dozing behind the counter while holding a large yellow cat, immediately stood up upon hearing the noise. Welcome. He took a clear look at my face and froze for a moment. My apologies for not greeting you sooner. What wish do you have, honored guest? I smiled. No need to pretend. I know it was because of you that my sister was given a chance at rebirth. It took me a long time to uncover this lead. This unassuming little shop is run by a manager named Xu Xiaoran and an assistant manager named Ji Zhao. The information I found was strange. Xu Xiaoran is a very ordinary female college student, while Ji Zhao's identity remains completely untraceable. At this moment, Ji Zhao served me a cup of hot tea. I had no interest in drinking it and got straight to the point. I can offer any amount of money you need. I have only one request. I cannot go through rebirth again. Yes, that's exactly what I intend to do, to block Lily Chi's path to rebirth once more. Ji Zhao was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. You may have misunderstood. The real client isn't your sister. It's you. My brow twitched. Time reversal is an extremely costly service, and we only offer it to the most deserving clients. You were someone we identified a long time ago. Then why didn't you come to me? We did. We repeatedly tried to leave flyers where you could see them and sent you promotional text messages, but you ignored them all. I facepalmed. This is indeed very likely. I'm swamped with work. So busy that I hardly have a moment to spare. I rely on my secretary to remind me of important emails so I don't miss them, let alone something like this, which looks a lot like spam. So we had to try pitching it to your sister. She holds a great deal of resentment about the past and immediately agreed. I raised an eyebrow. Does she know you're using her? Look at what you're saying. How can this be called taking advantage? Ji Zhao waved his hand, his eyes and brows glistening with a beautiful golden hue under the sunlight. We did indeed give her a rebirth, and the cost was bringing you along for the rebirth. These conditions were all laid out clearly, and she agreed to them herself. It's a straightforward transaction. As for other matters, they're not within our jurisdiction. Whether defying fate leads to a better life or a worse one depends entirely on one's own abilities. Our shop takes no responsibility for that. Then I have one last question, I said. Why was I chosen? That's also quite simple. You've already answered us with your actions. Ji Zhao smiled. In this rebirth, you changed your original investment strategy. Focusing more on the real economy, you've provided nearly 10,000 job opportunities for society and driven reforms in the manufacturing industry. At the same time, many people's fates have changed because of you, Ji Zhao said. For example, Li Wenying, on the financial magazine at Ji Zhao's counter. There was a photo of my cousin's wife. As a grassroots female entrepreneur, she has recently been dedicated to promoting agricultural support projects. In the photo, she is smiling brightly and radiantly. no longer the subdued woman who died in despair under her husband's domestic abuse in her previous life. There are many other women like Li Wenying, Ji Zhao said, so this deal was well worth it for us. When Xu Xiaoran returned to the wishing shop, Ji Zhao was looking for something to cover his instant noodles. Want a bite? Ji Zhao said. I added cheese, seaweed, crab sticks, and a soft-boiled egg. Xu Xiaoran ignored him, opened her notebook, and confirmed the follow-up details of this business. Lily Qi spent the rest of her life in a mental hospital. The Qi family's parents fell into poverty and debt after going bankrupt. Jet Zhao ended up on the streets and contracted a dirty disease. Qin Yong was jailed for assault, and his father became a deadbeat. Xu Xiaoran noted down the endings of these side characters one by one. But for President Qi, none of this should matter anymore. In their previous life, they couldn't stop her, and in this life, they still can't. Just as President Qi said, she will only lead more people to a broader world. After expressing her thoughts, Xu Xiaoran looked at the instant noodles in front of Ji Zhao. What is that? It's instant noodles, with cheese, seaweed, crab sticks, and a soft-boiled egg. I just asked if you wanted a bite. No, I'm asking what that thing next to you, used to wipe the noodle soup, is. Ji Zhao glanced over and froze. Holy crap, holy crap. Holy crap, it's the Czech President Qi left for us. He just spilled the instant noodle soup and casually grabbed something to wipe the table. Turns out it was the Czech President Qi wrote to thank them, and the amount was incredibly huge. Damn it, it's all ruined and unusable. Let me go back 10 minutes in time. Hurry up. Xu Xiaoran couldn't take it anymore. Ji Zhao, the ability of the Sihui people isn't meant to be used like this. Hurry, 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 let me be reborn. It's over 50 million. A mini rebirth was thus taking place inside the small shop, and the next big spender should already be on their way. The end.